Okay, go. It should be up, maybe, hopefully.
Refreshing.
I should have put in the new stream key. We're live.
Okay, it works. It works.
All right, I am immediately muting this on my end. All the commands have been removed, methinks. Makes sense. We fix that
We
later.
ping stream announce, right?
At captain, at player, at stream pings. It's time.
All right.
All right, I just realized I never actually started playing. So having the actual audio would probably help. Maybe just maybe, I'm assuming you can hear the Discord stream, hopefully.
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
Okay, but yeah.
Okay, good to know that still works because I haven't done this in a while. Laser was being all Laser was not wanting to cooperate with me. In the 20 minutes that I wanted to set up. It just decided to die entirely on OBS. So I was like, well, shit.
Okay, well, now that we're up and running, welcome to the Qualifiers Mappool Showcase. It will be four nomads, two hidden, two hidden, two hard rock, and 2 DT.
Shit, there's 8 hiddens in this map pool?
Yeah, 8 hiddens, yeah. So yeah, and then of course the gimmick of the tournament is that every song is either directly from the Touhou game series or a remix. Well, they're mostly remixes because if you were just trying to do with the actual Touhou originals, you would not be able to host this tourney.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit difficult.
It would be a little hard.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been, for those of you, for the unawares, it's been over 3 years since Touhou Tournament was last hosted. So
I actually have a long backstory with this, which one of the first things that got me interested in playing tourneys was watching the original Touhou tourney, which was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was a 1v1 between l.e.d and Apraxia. And
yeah,
no, those are not names we've heard in a while.
We've not heard those. And not to mention what Grand Finals of Touhou Tournament 2, I think, was Rubber Conquest and Floating Up. Those are team names nobody remembers anymore because
that's an olden era.
That's the olden era, back when Gomo's Faro was still the Floating Up captain. Man. Yeah, Touhou Tourney 1 was genuinely 5 years ago, Michael. But since Touhou Tournament 2, there have been there have been 2 million roughly new beat maps added to the game since then. So I figured it would be a decent time to bring this tournament back, see what new challenges we have in store.
Yeah, and especially because players have also gotten so much better in that time span.
Yeah.
So now we can go a bit wild with pulling stuff that's a full star rating higher than back in the day.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to keep difficulty balancing as roughly to the best. We're gonna try to maintain difficulty balancing to the best of our abilities. For some of you probably are already aware, there are certain map slots that don't really work well with the Touhou genre, and
no mod 4.
No mod 4. We'll work our best with that, but I think we've stalled enough.
Yeah.
It's time to go into no mod 1.
Yep.
If anybody played Touhou Tourney 2 and made it to the round of 32 in that tournament, they probably remember Tiebreaker 1 as the lower difficulty of this, and now for no mod 1 for qualifiers in Touhou Tourney 3, it is Minosaur Hopelessness diff of Lost in the Abyss.
It's a real banger to start off the tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a bit different from like a standard modern No Mod 1. Because for one, it's a bit longer. It's like about a minute longer than average. And then also you don't have as like constant jump strain. Like the whole map isn't like jump spam pretty much. Like you have a lot of these like less dense rhythms with sliders as well. So it plays more like a actual map, so to say.
Yeah. Not to mention, some of these jumps, these aren't the most like comfortable jumps for like a No Mod 1 map, but they are difficult, and they're not like the most awkward jumps, you know, in like No Mod 1 history, but like they're spaced enough at a low enough BPM where it still provides a respectable aim challenge. If you're good at aim, you'll definitely do well on this map, but like it can be a difficult map to be consistent on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because that's kind of what I was gonna mention. When you have jump maps with really low BPM, or really low BPM for jump map standards, then the spacing has to be very high to compensate to achieve a similar star rating. So that's what you kind of have here with only clocking in at 183 BPM. And then the very high spacing is a skill set that not a lot of people are good at nowadays, because it's not very favored in like the meta.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is getting into like first ki. It's one of the higher aim strain parts. That as well as the ending.
Yeah. The KIs are definitely like the most difficult part of this map, but needless to say, like first sections and even like I guess you wouldn't necessarily call like solos, but like I guess like breaks. I don't know. I can't think of these programs. I've been up since like 4 AM. They're still relatively difficult. It is 183 BPM, so the streams are not that particularly terrible. The spacing is a little bit rough, but it's not unbearable, and that's coming from somebody who can't play streams. So,
well, it's definitely not a tapping gap thing. It's like a bit of a flow aim requirement on the few streams that are here and there. But yeah, that as well as some of the filler parts, like you saw, there was like a 1/12 buzz slider there. There are some things you really need to watch out for to make sure you don't get some silly misses on some of the easier parts.
Yeah. It's also a little bit more precise than your typical like No Mod 1 map. It's CS 4.4, which is not something you typically see in
yeah, if it's just enough higher that you'll probably notice it. Actually, this pool has a lot of like slightly higher CS. It's just something I noticed.
Let me take a look again. 4.4. Okay. Wow, this is actually.
Yeah.
It is a little bit. Although to be fair, 4.2 has become a pretty common.
Pretty standard. Yeah, 4.2 is pretty par for the course.
As you can see in the last PI section here, as we're about to come into the ending.
Yeah, this is after these sliders, it's going to be definitely the hardest part of the map. You have some fairly high spacing, as well as there's some just stacks littered in between them that makes it a tiny bit harder to read, for me at least. But yeah, those notes, you gotta have your eyes on the entire screen. Yeah, getting into No Mod 2, we're gonna have a bit more of a standard pick. This is it was a custom map back from when custom maps were not really all that popular for OWC 2019 and finals.
I'm gonna be real, I forgot this was an OWC map.
Yeah. So yeah, 200 BPM. For this star rating, nowadays is pretty standard. So you're gonna have both a stamina component to it and a slight flow aim component as well.
Yeah, you can kind of see there's nothing really too crazy going on at the start. Just kind of making sure your finger control is in check. A little bit of flow aim. These streams get up to actually like 48 notes this early on. So yeah, really a lot of. And to put it this way, if you're comfortable on 200 BPM, it's the flow aim you're gonna need to deal with, especially coming up. If you struggle tapping, you might be running out of stamina on some of these longer streams.
One thing I wanted to add is that this map feels very easy to over aim on. I think part of it is the AR is a bit lower than what is like conventional nowadays. 9.4 is a little bit low. Makes it just that bit easier to just see a lot of notes and just aim faster than you need to.
It is a short map, 2 minutes and 7 seconds.
Yeah. me molding a little bit, but
yep.
Yeah, that part right before the break is definitely the most space the streams get. So if you can hit that little bit of a diff spike, then your score should be looking pretty good.
And the map doesn't really get any more difficult. We've pretty much already hit the hard section of this. There's just a little bit of finger control. There's like this last stream at the end. This is actually probably, I think, the longest stream. I didn't look at it too closely in the editor to like count the exact, stream length, but the ending is not nearly as like stamina intensive compared to like the middle. I almost clicked Nomad 4 for a second because that was the next one on the thing, but
Wait,
Nomad
yeah, this
3
is
first.
this is Nomad 3, and Nomad 3 is the alt map because we do it correctly. Yeah, this pick, it's kind of a thing that because we have the restriction of, picking only Touhou maps, not really intentionally, but a lot of the picks end up being not like the most tournament optimized, which can be a good thing and can be a bad thing. Kind of just depends on your perspective. But this is definitely one of those picks because there's a bit of a funny part. That we'll talk about when we get there.
Yeah.
But
we did go through a few picks previous, like during the pooling phase. I think even before like most of the way those joined, I had already like replaced the No Watch 3 slot in qualifiers like 4 times, so it was a little bit difficult to find something that we like wanted to work with. This ended up being the final pick, and you can kind of see it's kind of a mix of like flow, just regular like flow aim ult, but then also the aim control that you need for some of these patterns. You saw at the very start a lot of like cut quads, at the end of that TI section, the cut doubles that you have to aim.
I think the cut doubles are definitely like the defining feature of the map in my mind.
And yeah, unfortunately, this is also a speed.
Well,
okay, we saw like one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this section.
Well, it's only 1/6 up until the part. So yeah, before it was only 1/6, so that's pretty manageable for most people.
This kind of just mixes a massive, like, it just throws in a lot of like different ult skill sets. You have your regular ult, and they had the 1/3 section as well just then.
Yep. Oh, this pattern coming up is quite tricky. It's like stacked in the middle of it. Yeah, that one. So I think this is definitely one of the maps you're going to want to put a few practice runs into.
Yeah, for sure. Another kind of 1/3 section here.
Yeah. You're right, this map does like to mix it up a lot. I guess that's just kind of the effect of when you don't have like maps specifically for tourneys. They're just here to represent the song.
Yeah. 1/6 there.
Yeah, but anyway, after this part, there's some 1/8 bursts. So that's like basically 300 BPM. So we do expect you to double tap it.
Yeah, here's your speed map.
Yeah.
No mod.
Now you can tell it's not speed bias because I fucked up. Nah, because the speed players will do worse because they're not used to double tapping. Real.
The ending isn't even. The ending doesn't really let up either. I mean, those like cut doubles.
Yeah, that's where the cut doubles get the most space, is at the end.
So yeah, you do kind of get like a little bit of this, you know, like the speed jump scare, but like the last ki is equally difficult, I think.
Yep.
All right, let me find my freaking folder again. As we go to No Mod 4.
Yep. So, I guess first thing you'll probably notice it's a very long map. It's like a tiebreaker length map. This being one of the probably the hardest slot for us to fill, because
yeah, in general.
But yeah, so here we have a map that it plays a lot different from what you expect from typical tech map. Because I don't know how to put it. It's kind of like it's like a janky consistency map. It has some cuts, it has some like space doubles, but I think it has a lot more like raw aim element to it than most tech maps.
Yeah. We're gonna kind of start off the No Mod 4 with the classic good old slider spam.
Yeah. The slider velocities are not all that crazy. In my mind, the most difficult parts are the blowing the triples, because they're at some rather uncomfortable angles going into them. Yeah, this part especially.
Yeah, the Kiais go a little bit hard.
So yeah, the general structure of this is it has a long intro, this Ki part, and then like a bit of another filler part, and then a very similar Ki part.
Yep. Yeah, you kind of get the gist of the map. It's a Cycling remix, which is not something you would probably expect to see, you know, in like a Touhou-related tournament. I forget what the remix of this is exactly. I think it's imperishable. I know it's from.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It sounds like Touhou 8 song.
Yeah, it's definitely from imperishable. I just don't remember. Also, Michael, I'm just like noticing a few things. But yeah, I think at some point, because I do remember, I think the song I think was gonna end up being used in Touhou Tournament 2, but I don't remember. Because this map was not a thing back in.
A pattern you've seen pop up a few times that you should be aware of is that there's a lot of like a triple into a single that's like stacked. So just something you want to be aware of so you don't misread.
Yeah. These are actually just all reading maps.
Every map in OSU is a reading map. Real.
True. Yeah. A little bit of a lengthy no mod pool for qualifiers.
Well, it's kind of balanced because the rest of the pool there's nothing crazy long.
Yeah. I suppose so. And we get to the last guy, which is pretty much
it's mapped basically the same. Yeah.
Me when the song is quite literally the exact same.
Yeah.
Spacing I think does increase a little bit on the last Ki, just like very slightly.
The tiniest bit, yeah.
So there is a little bit more opportunity to break. but otherwise, pretty much the same.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna want to field like your very consistent players for this, because even counting like the filler and accounting for that, there's a lot of actual map you need to play that you need to be very consistent on if you want to FC or like near FC.
And then the classic, I want to get this map ranked, so I'm going to map the entire thing to get it over the 5-minute mark so I don't have to make a full spread.
And the best thing about it is not even rank, it's love.
No, this set's ranked.
It's okay. I'm not gonna fact check that. I'll take your word for it.
I would know because I've played this a few times. I think
Okay,
there might be a loved set of.
I know for a fact there's a leaderboard, so I'll just assume you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Next we have Hidden One.
There we go.
And Hidden One, in my opinion, this was one of the most fun maps to play for me. This is gonna be our mid-range BPM aim check, so 220 BPM. AR is pretty normal, but just the BPM being a bit higher makes it a tiny bit more dense.
Yeah, 220 BPM.
Yeah. Nice thing about this for tourney use is they didn't map the intro, so it's a more consistent difficulty map because it kind of just gets right into it.
A little bit on the speedy side, 220 BPM. Kind of the awkward aim. It's a lot of micro aim movements as well, with kind of some of
the non-stack triples. Like anytime you have non-stack triples in a map, it always just makes it so much more involved to aim it, because you have to do like a stop-start motion. That's a little bit tricky.
Not to mention, the speed at which you're moving your cursor and like where you're moving your cursor at every possible moment, because you just have to be ready for whatever space is coming next, because it's not like just where the key is, where it's just you expected just massive jumps. No, there are definitely some like micro jumps that you have to adjust to on the fly as well. And
yeah, there's not much free combo in this
those
one.
Those kinds of jumps can be particularly difficult on Hidden, especially if you're like not comfortable on it. The AR on this I think makes it a little bit more approachable, being 9.5, but still can be a challenge.
Yeah, towards the end, the jump spacing will get a little bit higher, but the angles also get like a tiny bit more comfortable, so it's still pretty uniform, I feel. Yeah, there we have it.
Alright, Hidden 2 time.
Thank you for the replay. Yoshi Lover, the Hidden 2 man himself.
The Hidden 2 man himself. I do not understand how he FC'd this, I'm gonna be real. Because you can see the beginning is torturous.
Yeah, and that part pops up again, like 200 combo in roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's the hardest part of the map. Because they're like zigzag streams that like you can cheese them. But the fact that it's AR hidden makes it much harder to do that.
Yeah. There's nothing inherently difficult about this map in terms of like stack reading, because it doesn't really exist. I mean, you can see like those sliders are perfectly stacked, but they're 1-2 sliders. It's very easy to deal with. A lot of the difficulty really comes in from like the really awkward flowing. But if you
also,
can read AR8, this is relatively fine to play. I don't know what you were gonna say.
Yeah, personally, I find the sort of grid style jumps very awkward to aim, especially because it's CS5. This is more awkward to aim than the hidden one for me. But clearly, it's no problem for real hidden player.
Yeah. I guess you can kind of expect that from Bloxy maps, because this is like, when you think of a Bloxy Touhou map, this is kind of what you think of.
Yeah, basically.
There's a few exceptions, but...
Yeah, usually his stuff is like, kind of pseudo old style, so... pretty characteristic. Yeah, there's a bit of a street part after this as well, but they're not as spaced as the one you saw earlier.
You do have to be careful with your cursor there. The stream actually like stops moving.
Yeah.
It goes back on itself, but also like it doesn't go back at the same cursor speed, because the sliders do start stacking on top of each other at the end.
Yeah, pretty tricky map. The actual specialists on this should have a pretty big advantage.
Yeah. Alright. Hard Rock Pool time. More felt.
Yeah. Don't worry, this is not the farm one. That's like every Hard Rock game player's first 500.
Every Hard Rock game player who can stream.
Okay, that's true. I am pretty sure the PV map thinks that map is a stream map. I'm pretty sure all the PVs from the intro, but yeah, this one is definitely a more pure aim check. Also, the angles are a lot more awkward. Not like exotically so, but it's not just like acute angles all the way through.
Yeah. I forget when this map was ranked, because this is definitely in like I think in the 2015, 2016 era of mapping, I want to say.
Yeah. Something along those lines. Definitely one of the more, I guess, dated maps, but still holds up by modern standards.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't really have any streams, you do have some bursts that are can be a little tricky to flow, especially the ones at the end. And with the theme of us having like a lot of slightly high CS, this is CS3 plus Hard Rock, which makes it a bit. Well, CS4 4.3. Sorry.
Yeah. I think this is 5.6 after Hard Rock.
Yeah, which might not sound like that much of a difference, but really is if you're not comfortable on Hard Rock game.
$500. Is this even 500? Is this 500?
I think you anything's PV Hard Rock if you act. So if you SS, it's probably 500.
That's true. That's true. But it's not Gunga PV unlike the Nazi set.
Yeah, no rework abuse here.
Fun fact though, because Chip did the replay for this, when he first saw the pool, like he thought I pulled the Nazi one initially, because New World. I think both of the sets are pretty classic.
Yeah, both fairly well known. Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't gonna put the Nazi one in.
Okay, the jumps get a little spicier here for this solo. A bit of a more intense part. So yeah, make sure not to be caught off guard by that. Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, the end introduces a few more bursts.
Yep. Do we play Qualifiers qualifiers this week. Currently, the schedule is, the plan is, so you guys, so qualifiers I do have listed on the sheet for this weekend. I do intend on players, playing qualifiers this weekend. I'm hoping to get screening back, before qualifiers ends. If not, then I don't have a choice. I have to delay the tournament. Unlucky. But I'm hoping to get screening back in time to not have that happen. We'll have to see.
It is a classic tournament issue. Stuck in screening hell.
Yeah.
I mean, I think support have been a bit better about that recently. That's what I heard.
Yeah, the last.
Hopefully that continues to be the case.
Yeah, I'm gonna hopefully not jinx it here. The last tournament I hosted, where I sent them screening, I got it back in 3 days. So, Prage.
So next we're gonna have our Precision Hard Rock 2. Pretty well-known map in tournament scene. Gets used as a Hard Rock or a free mod a lot.
Yeah, Hail No Alien by Half Slashed. So you already know this map is going to be really difficult because it's a half slashed map.
Yeah. Half Slash not exactly known for making the most intuitive to play maps. Also, do want to point out this is this is our first map from where the song is actually an original from the Touhou series, I believe.
Yep.
So yeah, anytime you see the composer is Zun, that is the guy who single-handedly makes the series. He does the music, the art, and everything. Pretty incredible, but
it's actually incredible. This one's a bit lengthy, 3 minutes roughly speaking. 171 BPM for the most part. I think there is a little bit of variable BPM in this.
It's not too noticeable.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really one of the maps where, well, this might be just a precision thing in general, but you can really miss on anything in this. Because even the slow parts have these 1-1 jumps that, if you're not being careful, it's pretty easy to just find those slight over aims or miss aims. Also, the rhythm feels very. It's much more complicated than it seems. I don't know how else to put it.
And we kind of go back to what we saw earlier on in the beginning.
I do kind of predict this would be one of the lower scoring maps in quals. I saw it in the quals recently and people didn't do so great.
Yeah, definitely on the harder side, but I think it's
within reason.
Yeah. And this is another one of those slots where we had a little bit of difficulty getting the right pick in. I think this slot again, Hard Rock 2 for this. I think I ended up going through about 4 different maps before settling on this one, so.
Some of the reverse sliders you really need to respect as well. I mentioned because there was one of them right there.
Yeah. Away with you, the stinky cheese.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow. Anyways.
Alright,
DT
so
time.
yeah, the DT pool in this pool is done kind of interestingly, because typically you expect DT1 is just aim and DT2 is just speed, but in this case we just have 2 maps that are stylistically a lot different, but they both test aim and speed.
Yeah. This one, 231 BPM. It's AR10, not 10.3. Funnily enough, because I completely forgot, this was used in Touhou 2. This was used in Touhou 2 Tourney 2 Grands. So, oops.
And this is something we were just reminded of a few minutes before we started the showcase.
Yeah, A little bit of aim, a little bit of stamina. Not really stamina intensive, but there's still like some decently linked 231 BPM bursts. And then you have, you know, some finger control, some doubles as well.
Yeah. I think the focus is a lot more on the, like, not so much stamina, but on mostly finger control. Because the doubles can be very tricky when they're integrated into these parts that are also pretty hard to aim and have some pretty decent spacing.
Yeah, laser loves to work. DT1 star rating, 7.22. Definitely a little bit on the higher side. I forget what it is.
Yeah, it's the highest star rating post rework in this pool, but it's understandable because this kind of thing gets very stomped by rework. Perhaps undeservedly so. People can debate, but
yeah, I forget what the local star rating on this is.
It's ballpark like 6.8, I want to say. Yeah, it gets buffed very appreciably by the finger.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Mirage, and I forget who Mirage collabed this with. It wasn't Yunzen. Who did Mirage collab on?
Yeah. I mean, for something that Mirage at least partially mapped, it actually plays pretty comfortably, I'd say.
Oh, it was
it's just a good general like fundamentals test. That's how I'd put it. Yeah, and applying those fundamentals to like slightly high BPM. I mean, 230 not very high by DT standards, really. But... yeah. And then so next we're gonna have our contrasting DT pick. This one is a little bit out there. Should bring something unique to the table. Yeah. Because it's kind of a hybrid between like a reading map and a speed map. Because, I mean, if you just look at the AR itself, 9.7, I mean, it might not sound that bad, but at 270 BPM and with these kind of patterns, it's very, very involved to read. You need to be on your toes.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people recognize Touhou no Maigo, you know, the top diff constantly being used as, you know, a hidden 2 map in, what, open rank tourneys way back in the days when, you know, it was first introduced, and since then, it hasn't been used that much recently. But...
yeah, people all got sick of it, I feel, but then this hasn't been brought out as often. You know, as a pool, you're always looking to try to find good picks that have also not been used a bajillion times, so...
yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen this diff used in double time.
Yeah, this doesn't really get used because in the modern tournament meta, this doesn't fit a particular slot very well. I mean, of course you have this, like, pretty high speed requirement here with these bursts at 270, but the fact that a lot of it's aimy and very reading intensive probably makes people not want to use it. But in this context, I feel like it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, requires a very specific kind of player, because players who like both reading and speed are a little bit hard to come by. So yeah. Quite the niche that definitely some specific players will thrive on and others will not.
Yeah. What do I put on the Touhou radio? Let's put this on the Touhou radio. As we finish off some housekeeping things, so... yeah, that's the qualifiers pool. I'm gonna get the sheet for... I'm gonna get the map pool, map pack, and schedules out shortly after the stream is over. Trying to think of any other housekeeping things I need to do. For those of you who may be watching this after the stream, I did add Dinobot to the server to do a cheeky little reaction roll for stream pings. I don't know what we did in I don't remember what Michael did in Touhou Tournament 2 for that, but if you want to get pinged for string pings, join the server. I'm pretty sure there's no command for it, so I'm just going to grab the server link and pop that in chat. Join the server, go to the React String Pings channel, react with the Omega Cyrano in there, and you can get pinged for streams. Otherwise, like I mentioned earlier, qualifiers will still happen this weekend. Whether or not the tournament stays on schedule is entirely dependent on whether or not I get screening back in time. But I'm hoping. I'm being optimistic with how OC Support's been doing in the past few months regarding screening. So I'm hopeful. Otherwise, thanks to Ampy for commentating alongside with me today. Thank you for a lot of the replays as well.
Nah, no problem. I just want to play some Touhou bangers. That's all.
Touhou bangers indeed. Big thanks to Coda, Yoshi Lover, and Chiv.
And Chiv.
And Chiv for the other replays. Otherwise, I would say we'll be back next week for the round of 32 showcase, but honestly, that kind of depends on when we get screening back. So, join the server. I will ping about it. I will ping about when the next showcase is. So. Also,
we could see if we can get like a result stream together. I think that might be cool. Because
I'll try to see about that. We'll see if I have the time.
I don't know. I'm kind of excited for it because this tournament got a lot more like high-level competition than I was originally expecting. So
yeah.
We love to see it.
Yeah. Let me check if the Mappool feedback channel is open. Okay, apparently it is because there's literally been a message.
Someone put a copy pasta.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a few things I just need to check. Yeah, join the server if you have any other questions. Ask away in the questions channel. I will try my best to get back as quickly as possible to you. Otherwise, thanks for watching and good luck in qualifiers.